All right, folks, welcome to another episode of the Drunken Zombies Podcast. You know the drill. We're diving into a brand new zombie story.
Fresh meat for the zombie grinder, right?
Absolutely. And trust me, this one really sinks its teeth into you. We're talking heart-pounding action.
Oh, yeah. A real nail biter.
And just, some really masterful storytelling that keeps you hooked. Like those late-night snacks you can't resist.
I'm already intrigued, gotta say. So what kind of world are we stepping into today?
Okay, so picture this. It's the aftermath. The world's gone to hell in a handbasket, but here's the twist.
Hit me with it.
The women, they're the ones who outlasted their zombie husbands.
Oh, wow. Okay, so we're not dealing with the initial outbreak chaos here.
Nope. We're thrown right into this, society built by these badass widows. They're forging a new path. But get this.
A bit of butt coming, I can feel it.
The biggest threat they face, it might not be the shambling hordes anymore.
Ooh, now that's interesting. What could be scarier than a horde of flesh-eating monsters?
Well, that's what we're going to find out. Right off the bat, we meet Grace Miller in this town, Willow Creek.
Willow Creek. Got it.
And things are already feeling kind of off. Grace, she's got this cough she's trying to shrug off.
Classic horror movie trope. Denial in the face of danger.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's more than that. She keeps hearing these creepy whispers at night.
Whispers. Okay, that's not your typical zombie moan.
Right. And they're getting closer to the town's defenses. Sends shivers down your spine, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, it makes you wonder, is it just paranoia or is there something more sinister at play?
Yeah, and think about it. Why would the author drop that little bomb so early on? It's got to be important, right?
Oh, absolutely. Definitely sets the stage for some serious suspense.
And then we peel back the layers on Grace, find out her husband, Thomas, was a builder.
Okay.
But she's got this, sixth sense for spotting weaknesses, especially in their defenses.
So even in their safe haven, she can't escape the feeling of vulnerability.
Right. It's like her knowledge, which should be a good thing, becomes this curse.
I can see how that would weigh on someone. Constant reminder that they might not be as safe as they think.
Totally. And the author just nails the atmosphere in Willow Creek, Every little detail adds to the tension.
I'll go kind of details.
Like you get these creaking sounds, a dog barks, and then silence.
Yeah. Sudden quiet. That's always unsettling.
It's like you're just waiting for the other shoe to drop. And then we get this intense scene between Grace and Sarah in the cellar.
Sarah, who is she?
So Sarah's another widow.
Mm-hmm.
But she's seen some things. Let's just say she's a bit more hardened.
Makes sense. I mean, this whole situation, it changes people.
No doubt. Anyway, Sarah's worried about Grace, about her wandering around at night and those whispers.
Where are the whispers? They're still bugging her.
Big time.
Yeah.
And you really see the contrast between these two women.
Oh, so...
Sarah's all about survival.
Yeah.
She's blunt, tells Grace straight up, your husband's gone.
Yeah.
No sugarcoating.
Harsh, but probably realistic in that world.
Totally. But Grace, she's still holding on to hope. Doesn't want to accept Thomas is dead without seeing a body.
That's understandable, that need for closure. But denial can be a dangerous thing in an apocalypse.
You said it. And then, bam! Out of nowhere, there's this huge crash from upstairs.
Oh, that doesn't sound good.
Not good at all. And it's not just any crash. They realize it's deliberate and it's human. Definitely not a zombie.
Okay, so now we know the threat is more than just the undead. There's something else out there.
Yep. And it pushes Grace and Sarah together, forces them to face this new danger head on.
Interesting dynamic. Two very different women united by a common threat.
Absolutely. So they decide to investigate, and it leads them to the Smith home.
The Smith home. Any significance to that?
Yeah, it's where the last of the men in Willow Creek, where they made their last stand, didn't end well.
So it's a place already steeped in loss and, a sense of failure?
Exactly. Adds another layer of creepiness to the whole situation.
Makes you wonder what they're about to find there.
Right. Now, Sarah, she's all business. Heads for the kitchen, armed to the teeth.
Practical, I like her style.
Yeah, she's ready for a fight. But Grace, she's drawn to the living room by a whisper.
Still following those whispers. She's got guts.
And there's this moment where Sarah hesitates, then nods, like she respects Grace's intuition.
Maybe she's starting to see Grace as more than just the preacher's daughter and baker's wife.
Could be. In the living room, it's just like a snapshot of the horror they've lived through.
What do you mean?
Broken furniture, yeah, and pieces of the man-eaters.
Man-eaters, that's what they called the zombies.
Yeah, it's brutal, but it fits.
Sends chills down your spine. And they've only been dealing with this for 6 weeks?
Yeah, just 6 weeks. It's like everything's still so raw.
You can feel the grief and the trauma just hanging in the air.
Totally. Okay, now buckle up, because the story takes a hard left turn. We're suddenly with Lucy outside of Willow Creek.
Who's Lucy?
Lucy's another survivor. But she's alone, 4 days into this desperate journey in an old pickup truck.
Where's she headed?
Ellis Pharmaceuticals. She's got this crazy idea that she can find a cure or something.
A cure? Is that even possible at this point?
Well, she's holding on to that sliver of hope. But her real motivation is her son, Jake. She needs to get back to him.
A mother's love, powerful motivator.
No doubt. And we get this sense that Lucy, she doesn't see herself as a Sarah. She was a nurse, not a soldier.
I can see how she'd feel inadequate compared to someone like Sarah.
And even Grace and Sarah, they seem to judge her pretty harshly.
It's like they've already built this wall around their hearts, trying to protect themselves from more pain.
Yeah, that's probably part of it. So Lucy reaches Ellis Pharmaceuticals, and it's like straight out of a zombie flick.
Chain link fences, razor wire.
The whole 9 yards. She finds a storm drain to get in, hoping it's not a zombie hangout.
That takes guts, going into the unknown like that.
Tell me about it. And inside, it's all steel corridors and this eerie silence.
And she's all alone?
Completely alone. Even starts wondering if the zombies could figure out how to work the machinery, which is
spooky thought.
Totally spooky. Then she finds this lab, doors wide open, computer monitors flickering, and she hears it.
Here's what? Don't leave me hanging.
Shuffling feet. Rotting, shuffling feet.
Oh no, here we go.
She doesn't hesitate, slams into the lab, locks the door. There's 3 of them outside.
Zombies.
Zombies. And what's really freaky is that their faces, even though they're all messed up, they're recognizably male.
A reminder that these were once people, probably people they knew.
Yeah, it adds this whole other layer of horror to it. They're pounding on the door. Lucy's trying to barricade it with this heavy lab table.
Seems like a desperate struggle. Is she going to make it?
Just when the tension's at its peak, there's this blinding flash, and then everything goes black for Lucy.
Black? What happened?
We don't know. It's a total cliffhanger. Back in Willow Creek, Sarah's still at the Smith house.
Okay, so we're jumping back and forth now.
Yeah, the author keeps us on our toes. Sarah finds this blanket just tossed carelessly on the floor, and she knows.
What?
Lucy ain't coming back. Not by choice, anyway.
Sarah's got good instinct. She can read the signs.
And back in town, we see Jake, Lucy's son. He's still holding on to this tiny shred of hope that his mom's going to come back.
Breaks your heart. That innocent faith in the face of such darkness.
He's clutching his stuffed dog, just a little kid in this messed up world.
Makes you think about all the children who've lost so much in this apocalypse.
Yeah, it's heavy stuff. And then Jake's at the barricade, and he sees someone approaching. For a second, he thinks it's Lucy.
Oh, that's got to be agonizing. Hope and fear all mixed together.
It is. But then the figure stumbles, collapses. It's Lucy, but she's covered in blood, barely whispering one word.
Don't tell me.
Mama. That's all she manages to get out before.
Oh, she dies.
Yeah. Right in front of her son. And Jake's scream, it attracts a whole horde of zombies, including someone they knew, Mrs. Peterson.
Mrs. Peterson. A neighbor or something?
Yeah, someone familiar. Sarah tries to pull Jake back, but it's chaos. Zombies everywhere.
I bet. So what happens to Lucy?
It's brutal. They describe it like a pack of animals tearing into her.
And her son's watching this.
Yeah. Jake's screaming, Sarah's yelling, fighting them off. It's a sensory overload of horror.
Must be absolutely terrifying.
Grace manages to pull Jake away. The zombies finally disperse, and then it hits them.
Hits them?
What do you mean? Lucy's not just gone. She's one of them now. The whole idea that the dead are just, gone, it's a lie.
That's a game changer. Witnessing that, especially for Jake.
It changes everything. This event, it's like the day Willow Creek wakes up. The council, they're done waiting around.
They're ready to fight back.
Grace, she steps up. Says the time for grief is over. They've got to learn from their losses.
Sounds like she's becoming a leader.
She is. Willow Creek goes into overdrive. They're fortifying defenses. Women are learning how to use weapons.
Wow, a real transformation.
Yeah, it's impressive. But there's this undercurrent of, like, a ticking clock. They know they're just buying time.
That's got to be a heavy burden to carry, knowing that the end might be inevitable.
They're fighting for their kids, for the memory of the ones they've lost.
A fight for the future, even if that future is uncertain.
Exactly. And Sarah and Grace, they form this, bond of respect. Their old lives, who they were before, it all fades away.
Shared trauma can do that. Forward unexpected connections.
For sure. And Willow Creek starts attracting newcomers, desperate mothers, even some lone men.
Sounds like they're building a new community.
They are. But they're careful, you know.
Yeah.
They vet everyone, make sure they're not a threat.
In that kind of world, trust is a luxury they can't afford.
You got it. So, years pass. Grace and Sarah, they're leading Willow Creek. Jake, he's growing up in this crazy new world, learning how to survive.
Adapting to the harsh realities of their situation.
And then, one day, Grace gets this feeling like a premonition. Their scouts report a massive horde, unlike anything they've seen before.
Bigger, stronger.
More than that. This horde, it's organized, intelligent, like it's on a mission to wipe them out.
That's terrifying. An intelligent horde changes everything.
It does. Willow Creek prepares for a final stand. Grace looks at her people, at Jake, and she knows even their bravery might not be enough.
A moment of truth. Facing the possibility of annihilation.
They're outmatched, but they're not giving up. The horde attacks at night. Sarah, she lets out this defiant war cry.
Leading the charge.
The battle is intense. Women fighting tooth and nail, the sound of steel clashing, screams echoing in the darkness.
You can practically feel the desperation, the adrenaline.
Grace, she's thinking about Jake, about the legacy of Willow Creek. It's a last stand for everything they've built.
What happens when dawn breaks?
Dawn comes, and the battlefield's a mess. Willow Creek's still standing, but they're outnumbered, barely holding on.
So what's next? Do they make a last stand?
The women, they stand back to back, ready to face whatever comes next.
A final act of defiance.
Then a figure emerges from the horde. It's Lucy, but she's changed. Mutated, intelligent, a twisted version of who she was.
Oh, wow. That's a horrifying twist.
It is. Lucy, she speaks to Grace. Her voice is all distorted, and she says their time is over.
Oh, it's the end.
Grace, she's heartbroken, but she doesn't back down. She talks about everything they've fought for, everything they loved, built.
Defiant to the end.
And then Jake steps forward. He says they are the future. A spark of hope amidst the devastation.
A glimmer of possibility. Maybe something will survive, even if it's not Willow Creek itself.
The final moments, it's all a blur. Steel, screaming, and then silence.
Silence. That's always the most unsettling part, isn't it? The aftermath of the storm.
It sticks with you. Makes you think about what you'd do in that situation, who you'd become.
This story, it's a roller coaster. It's terrifying, but it's also about hope, resilience, the power of community.
It makes you think about the true nature of fear. Is it the monsters in the dark, or is it the darkness within ourselves?
And what about hope? Can it truly exist in a world where even those we love can become our worst enemies?
Big questions, huh? Ones we'll be pondering long after this episode's over.
Thanks for taking us on that journey. I'm still reeling from that ending.
You and me both. Well, folks, that's it for another episode of the Drunken Zombies podcast. Hope you enjoyed the ride.
It was definitely a wild one.
Don't forget to rate, follow, and all that good stuff. We'll be back soon with more tales of brains and mayhem.
Until next time, stay safe out there.
And watch out for those whispers.